All right, man. Well, thank you so much for staying with us here on the show. This is Prime Morning. Up next is News Flash. It's proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, phone Papa Pap here. This morning, we're entreating you to go to Franco and buy from them. We've got gadgets, accessories, we've got phones, we've got CCTV cameras, and of course, if you need television screens, we've got 32 inches to 55 inches, and they are very, very good and affordable as well. All you need to do is to walk into any of our branches and make a purchase. Now, the good thing is that you may just get a delivery done for you. Now, I remember buying a refrigerator at the Braka branch, and it was delivered. Now, from every step of the way, I was informed where the refrigerator was, how close it's getting to where I wanted to go, and all of that. And that's customer service, and that's what we're talking about. Don't go to places where you make a purchase and regrets making the purchase over there. It's Franco Trading Enterprise or no other place, I can guarantee that. So just go there and grab something for your homes. And you can also connect with us. WhatsApp line is always active. The number you can call on as well is 0555-939311 and speak to us. Do not pick any number on social media to do business with us. Now, the app is on your phone. Google Play Store is Franco Trading app. Our website is www.francotrading.com, and you can get all the info you need over there once you log on. Franco Trading Enterprise says still phones, Papa Pafi, and this one we're grateful to them for making us have this conversation here on News Flash. And as always, we're going to get into the newspapers, the front page, and check out what has been reported. My guests are already seated in the studio. I introduce them to you, and then we'll move on to our issues. Now, the major issue we're talking about this morning is the role of religious leaders in shaping elections. Now, we delve a bit into what we're known as the prophecies of the elections. Do they actually do anything in the first place? And well, people actually listen to religious leaders when they come out to say, we're preaching peaceful elections, we're asking you to go and vote for this person or that person. Sometimes they do that in their various churches. Do the people listen to them when they make some of these pronouncements in their churches? We're going to be looking at that. You can send your messages to us. Let us know what you think about that. Our WhatsApp line is active. On Facebook, we're streaming live. You can go there and drop your messages in real time as well. Now, Daily Graphic this morning, it says tertiary programs at unaccredited centers to be revoked. GTEC says so. Measles, rubella vaccination underway. Targets 5 million and the 5-year-olds. Now, expedite hearing on Glamsey cases. Attorney General to judges. That's also another issue that came up yesterday between the Attorney General and the Chief Justice. Student Loan Trust Fund pays 25 million Ghana cedis teacher trainee allowance, and CDS calls for more collaboration among security services. Now, the back page over there, it says Minister satisfied with Ghana Landscape Restoration Project. That's Daily Graphic, and revamp Abosu class factory to develop renewable energy equipment at the back page of Daily Graphic. Ghanaian Times this morning says 36 hotspots identified nationwide. National Peace Council intensifies public awareness campaign in affected areas, and that's efforts to prevent electoral violence. Now, away from that, vote for my advice to continue my transformational agenda. President tells voters in Upper East, and NDC advocates a stakeholder examination of ECIT system. That's also captured on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. Expedite investigations into 54 Democracy Hub protesters, says the AG. At the back page, it says Ghana risk losing the EU timber market. Forest Watch says so. And speed up works on the inner city roads. Minister charges contractors. That's also reported by the Ghanaian Times. The Daily Dispatch is here, and it says the NDC will reject the results if they lose the presidential elections. Simple as says so. 23 women to contest in the Greater Accra parliamentary elections. And away from that, my enterprise economy is better than Mahama's 24-hour economy. Alan Chamantin punches Mahama. NDC accepts the EC's pledge to release corrected 2024 provisional voters register. That's moving forward. Now, at the back page, it's report on the issue of the provisional voters register, so you can read all the details of that. Now, the New Republic is here, and it says that the scandalous links exposed Vice President Baumia's alleged connection to Haptel's lucrative deals, and Tobe Ingaho moves to foil royal coup, files legal action against coup maker chiefs and regional House of Chiefs. The coup echoes reverberate. Now, commandos replace the infantry at vital GBC hub. And the big story over here this morning says MPP in election data harvesting plot. The Ghana reports Cambridge Analytica connection uncovered. That's also captured on the front page of the New Republic. The back page has got nothing really, so you can just grab a copy and read all the details of that on the front pages of these newspapers. And that's going to be all for the newspapers. Now, let me introduce my guest in the studio. On a Thursday morning, you should always expect that you see lawyer Kwame Jantua here with us. He's a senior member of CPP and also the chairman, Oil and Gas, AGI. Good morning to you. How are you? Thanks for the time. We're grateful.
It's always a pleasure.
Great. And sitting next to him is Emmanuel Senor Amaklenu. He's a National Communication Team member for the NPP. Good to see you, my brother. It's been a while, I guess.
Good to see you too, KMG. It's been a while, that's true. I think I've been seeing your show.
Hovering around.
Yeah, you've been moving. That's good. You're making good money.
Oh. Okay. It is possible.
It is possible. There's nothing to add.
Well,
why is Mr. Jantua
the
trying to
NPP believes that
listen?
everybody should be making money. So maybe that's a direct link to. Well, that's true.
No. Mr.
But is there money in the system, by the way?
There's money in the system.
Is it?
If you want to make money, work for it.
People are working, they're not making the money.
They are making
Look at what is happening with Zoom Lion, 250 Ghana cedis.
That's another issue that we.
It is not. It's still the money.
That's another issue that we want to look at.
Those monies have even been paid for a year.
Well, that is another issue we want to look at. It's not on the table of government. I think I just saw a snippet of that story, but I've not.
Yeah, I like the decision from the YE. No doubt about that. They have to. I mean, abrogate that whole contract. It doesn't make sense. So yes, I understand, but. If you're looking at it holistically, there are other people who are working hard and earning even less than what we're talking about this morning.
Well, I really want to dive into, because I think that's not the focus of the day, but I think that it's an issue of interest to me personally.
Exactly.
But I think that at the right time, when it's on the table, we'll look at it. Yeah.
Great.
When is the right time?
Mr.
Right time.
Lawyer is trying to be mischievous this morning.
Lawyer, I'll come back to you. We'll need to address your microphone. I'll come back to you in a couple of minutes. But let me introduce EA Beto. Maybe he can also chip in a few words regards to that. How are you doing, my brother? He's representing the NDC communications team. I hope you're good.
Yeah, I'm doing well.
You've got a lot of grey hair.
KMJ, you know, at this point, we are thinking about rescuing Ghana from this incompetent and
You're
clueless
forced to get grey
administration.
hair.
You know, you've been thinking a lot and around the box, so you'll be forced to get a grey hair. So that's what it is. But we're talking about the salaries that they are paying the Zoom Lion people. I think that because there's not a lot of availability of job in the system, people are forced to go for the scarce jobs, even with very bad working conditions. So because there's no job, you have to make ends meet, you have to survive some way. And you go looking for a job, and they tell you they're going to pay you 250 Ghana cedis, 300 Ghana cedis. You have no option than to take the offer. When you look at even YE, and you look at the jobs on their portal, you realize that some of the jobs on their portal, they are paying people 750 Ghana cedis. That's master's degree holders, degree holders, and then some of the jobs 750 Ghana cedis, some of them 1,000 Ghana cedis. And you ask yourself that, how would somebody survive with 1,000 Ghana cedis in this economy? Even transportation alone is going to take a chunk of your money, not to talk about food. Then how do you pay electricity bills? How do you pay water bills? So it's forcing the youth to do lots of things that they're not supposed to do. Today, I can tell you that there are people even working in the formal sector, like the banks, they are working in the offices, young men that are still engaged in this betting. this betting, soccer betting.
Yeah.
But they have whopping, like they are working in the formal sector. You ask yourself, why are they still engaged in the betting? I've even seen university lecturers engage in betting.
Okay.
You ask yourself why. It's because that the salaries is not enough to cater for all of these things. So we as a country, devoid of politics, we must take a holistic look at the wages that we pay our people, because the price of foodstuffs...
You need to end for me so that
the price of foodstuff increase astronomically. The salaries do not increase. And then the women, you know what they're engaged in. Other forms, they do all sorts of things to survive today. So it's a thing that we need to look at holistically.
It's going to come up in our conversations moving forward, because this is a very serious issue that we need to take a look at. Like I said, the YE has taken a stance, and I think that is a good thing to do. So let's see how that conversation goes in the coming days. But to our substantive issue this morning, we're looking at religious leaders and the role they play and influence they actually wield when it comes to elections. Elections 2024 is just around the corner. Now, in Ashanti region, we have the religious leaders over there have a march, a peaceful march that went into the office of the EC, and the EC responded to them accordingly. Let's take a look at it when we come back. We have our conversation on.
Leaders of Christian, Islam and other faiths join a common call for the Electoral Commission to be fair and transparent, but steadfast in the discharge of its duties ahead of the 2024 elections. Convener of the Coalition of Muslim and Christian Clergy, Reverend Dr. Inokwablan Ketia, said the religious groups are prepared to stand by the Commission in prayers for a successful conduct of the election.
This coalition of Muslims, clergy and Christian clergy, as we come together, we can foster some kind of unity in the electoral process. Yeah, fairness and honesty. We all have franchise, we all vote. As we stand here, all of us have our own political affiliations, but we have to be fair. We don't have to, side with any political party, but make sure, we put things in the right perspective. We have to understand that Ghana is bigger than any political party. So we need to ensure that we will speak to our followers, to be transparent.
The clergy plans to extend their engagement to political parties. Ashanti Regional Director of the Electoral Commission, Francis Osei-Nsia, assured the Commission will play its part in ensuring credible elections.
They indicated to us yesterday that they will be here to give us support or to encourage the Electoral Commission to continue what we are doing. So this morning they have come, and indeed they came to encourage us, they came to strengthen us, and they came to support us that we should concentrate and execute our mandates. So we also received their petition, and we are going to follow same to the management in Accra, and we have assured them that we will go by the rules of the game. We'll make sure that we will not deviate. So it was an encouragement to the Commission.
The assurance comes as the Electoral Commission held a historic inter-party advisory committee meeting with political parties and other interest groups with the media participation.
All right, so that was what happened when the religious leaders took to the streets, and it comprised of Muslims, Christians, and all of that. And so, yes, that's how it happened. Now, all over the world, we see these things happen, especially in America when it comes to elections. Now, there's a report that indicates that elections 2024 in America, religious beliefs are actually changing in the U.S., and it would actually impact on the elections. Now, it was put together by Sky, and they say America is one of the most religious countries in the West. About 2/3 of its voters identify as Christians, but things are actually changing, and the nation has become less devout in the last few decades. Now, it goes on and says that the presidential elections and now it's going to affect Americans, the religious in America. It goes and says we may think that faith communities are strong in the U.S., but religion is actually declining. In the 1990s, and around 90% of Americans identified as Christian. Now, more than a quarter say they have no religion This is significant to the elections because 70% of non-religious voters in America are more likely to vote Democrat, according to a Pew Research survey from April last year. The alignment is even stronger for agnostics that held 78%, and atheists actually had 84% of that. Now, something very interesting over here, and it says that race is also playing a role. The 2024 elections is actually seeing about 84% of black Protestants and 60% of Hispanic Catholics who are more likely to vote for the Democrats. And so there's a huge influence of, Christian community when it comes to elections, even in America. And we've seen same also happening in several other places where religious leaders actually speak and they make impact. I don't know over the period in Ghana if we've been able to see that impact in terms of what religious leaders tell their congregants and what they go out there to do. I don't know of any research of that sort, but we've had a lot of them publicly come out to tell their people to go out there and vote. Some do it a bit in coded language to let the people know that if you see what is going on now and you want to make a decision, you make a good decision. All right. So that is what we've seen. The trend has not been the same, been different from other parts of the world. But this morning we want to pay our attention to Ghana and see what religious leaders have done in terms of influence on elections, especially with the election that we have in 2024 just around the corner. Let me start off with Senor. Senor, and I'm starting off with you because Muhammad met the clergy.
No, so I think you should even...
No, he met the clergy a couple of days ago. I'm asking, is the NPP doing the same?
But do we have to look at what Muhammad...
No, I'm asking, is the NPP going to do the same? Are we possibly going to meet
It's
just a question that I'm asking. I'm not saying...
Muhammad doesn't direct how our strategy...
I made just a reference. I'm asking, is there...
Yeah, so you are asking me based on what Muhammad has done, and I'm saying that
was just a reference.
Then NDC doesn't determine what we should do. So they have done what they want to do. But I don't have to tell you as to what the plans of the NPP
I'm asking in connection with the conversations, what the conversation we're having this morning.
The NDC have done their thing. If the MPP wants to do it, I'm sure that definitely it will come up. But as it stands now, I don't think that we are supposed to be, following what Muhammad is doing. No. Muhammad says that this is what he wants to do, and that's fine. If the MPP thinks that that is what we also want to do, I think that it's early days yet. We are praying to God. We're listening to the voice of God. We're listening to the voice of the Almighty Allah. The direction of God is where we follow. So I think that everything is planned. Regardless, even in the Bible, there is politics. So I think that just wait. Don't be in haste to know whatever that is in the kitchen. At the right time, the kitchen will be open for everybody to dine.
Very well. Now, let me find out from you here. What have we seen impacts in the last 24 hours after meeting the clergy in terms of the influence they wield in this political season?
All right, thank you very much, KMG. And before I start, let me say a very good morning to yourself, a very good morning to my senior counsel and my brother from the NPP opposition party in waiting. They'll be going to opposition. Let me say a very good morning to the incoming president of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. He's in the Northeast region, and he's selling his manifesto, his campaign promises and policies, and the people are buying into it. Let me say good morning to Dr. Bernadette Na Hoffman, the head of the Coastal and Inland Fishing project of the JM campaign. She's doing a very good job. Within this week, she's been in the coastal communities, engaging with fisher folks within the Greater Accra region. She's done Central and Western already. So you can see that, I can tell you on authority, as of today, the coastal belt in Greater Accra would all go green on the 7th of December. Now, and a very good morning to our church viewers. The impact of JM meeting the clergy. When I got the notice that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was going to meet up with the clergy, and as an integral part of James' campaign team in Greater Accra, I followed the campaign. And I think when he was in Greater Accra the last time in Ablekuma South, Okovadapo's constituency, Honorable Okovadapo's constituency, he brought the clergy and traditional leaders together for His Excellency to engage them. And when you listen to the sentiments, you listen to the seriousness and the emotions attached to the things that they were saying, and the support where they were training for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. One of the things standing out was praising him and applauding him for his stance against LGBTQ. And you listen to them. But with the recent one with the meeting with the clergy, I was at home. I didn't attend, and I was watching on TV. I had goosebumps all over. You could see the atmosphere was charged, it was spiritual. You could see the genuineness of the men of God that were there. You could see people who were strong critics of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, like Reverend Owusu Bempah, who, despite all the things that he's done against this man still loves him. That's a mark of a good leader. And based on that, even when the program had ended, he had to take the mic and say that because of the good heart of John Dramani Mahama, God is going to give the nation back to him. When you get close to this man, you see that John Dramani Mahama is a genuine man. He's a man of peace. He's a man of God. He loves God, he loves his people. He loves to do things that would make his people feel at ease and benefits the people. So I wasn't surprised when Reverend Owusu Bempah, despite all that he's done, and John Mahama, His Excellency, spoke to him, if you see the videos. So I think that the impact has been good, and you monitor social media and the main media landscape from the day that he met the clergy. You could see where the narrative is going. So I won't be surprised. Senor is not telling us what their party is going to do, but I'm telling you that their party is going to do it. Because if you look at how their flag bearer is moving, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Mama met the media people. We engaged the media. Yeah. Shortly after, Mahmoud Bawumia met the media and engaged them. Mama has met the clergy, and I know he's also going to meet the clergy. The style in which we met the media, where everybody was free to ask their questions. And even in their own, they were gagging people, not accepting questions. They didn't invite just any media. So we invited everybody in meeting the media. So I know that he's going to meet the clergy as well. He doesn't know, but I'm telling you that he's going to do it. So you mark my words today. But generally, I thank the campaign team. I thank the handlers of the John Dramani Mahama for having such a meeting with the clergy. When you look at religious leaders and their role, can we go into that? And their role in governance and elections, okay? As a Christian, you see that their role spans all the way from the days of the Bible. When you look at Christianity itself, from the Bible, it was a theocracy. It was God that was ruling. We didn't have any earthly king, like a king on earth. But the other nations around Israel, they had kings. But Israel's king was God. And it got to a point in time where Israel pleaded with God that they wanted an earthly king who will lead them when they are going to battles, who will govern them, and then all that. At that time, Samuel was a prophet. And then they appointed Saul as a king. And we all know the incidents that led to Saul being rejected as a king. If you look at the role of Samuel, and if you look at the role of all the religious leaders that came at the time of Israel, okay, when you take the Saul incidents, for example, when he was going to the war against the Amalekites, he was given an instruction, a holy war, that go and destroy everything. And he came back and he didn't destroy them. So you see the role of the religious leader. He was guiding the political leader, the king. That was Saul. When Saul went and Saul did not abide by the rules that God had given them, when he came back, someone went to him and told him that because of what you've done, God has rejected you as king over Israel. He was impartial. The one who God directed him to go and bless, anoint, to be the next king, King David. He went to the house of David. They brought very fine gentlemen, very big people, good-looking brothers of David. And then he said no. And then they remember that David was in the fields with the flock. And they had to go and bring him. So as a religious leader in Ghana, bringing all this to Ghana, they are the only body that should not veer into politics. They should be independent. Because they are the only people that can correct the politicians. They are the only people that can praise the politicians. But if they all start doing politics, the religious leaders also start engaging in politics, who's going to correct us? Who's going to guide us? Who's going to tell us that, Mr. Man, what you are doing is not of God? what you are doing is wrong. This is not what the people want. But if they are now in the hands of the politicians, the pockets of the politicians, how are they going to be able to correct them? The media today, most of them are divided. Some few ones are very objective. Like Joy Prime, I keep saying that I don't know the stance of KMT. Because at one point in time, you heard on me, another point in time, you heard on Rosalind and all the hosts over here. You see, and even if you look at the topics that come up, one of the most objective media houses that we have in the system right now.
Thank you.
But so if your others, your brothers, the ones that are left, you can see all of them, they are divided alongside political lines. So you take the media out, but you are doing a good job. We need more of your likes, Joy Prime. But what about religious leaders? Today, all of them are talking politics. So if they are talking about peace,
wrapping up for me.
If they are talking about peace, and I like the match of the religious leaders in the Ashanti region, it's not only about the match. Okay, sometimes they need to speak. I don't know whether they are also talking through text messages or they are talking through emails. But this is the only one that we've seen that they are embarking on. We've raised a lot of concerns as NDC. We beg them. They should help us to trumpet them. Because the only way we can have peace is when we have justice.
Okay, very well. Thank you very much, Metal. Let me go to lawyer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to our listeners. You know, sometimes I don't understand us as political parties and as people. When I listen to the question you asked, Senor, I ask myself, his answer, where does that come from? Where does that come from? Is it not a national issue? Is religion something that everybody, most people in Ghana practice, be it Christian, be it ethnic, be it Muslim? Do we not all practice it? And so if you ask a question, will the MPP do the same? What has that got to do whether NDC direct them or they don't direct them? I don't see it. I really don't see it. Is it a good thing? Or it is something that isn't important? And I would say it's a good thing. Why? Because when this country has come to the brink, especially with elections, it's chiefs and the religious leaders that bring calm, that speak to the leaders. You heard Otumfo about the 2020 elections. Archbishop Duncan Williams, what do you call him? The other one, what's his name?
Chief Imam?
No. The other Christian priest.
ICGC.
Otabel. And even some of the ones you've discussed, they have stood to make sure that the country doesn't, fall into mayhem. And so if you ask a question, will the MPP also do the same? I expect my brother Senor to say, well, it's a good thing. It's something that should be encouraged. And if the MPP want to go that way, we will encourage that they go that way for the sake of the peace of our country. We should stop dividing our people. We are dividing our people. When we sit on platforms and do these things, we divide them because the people need an arrowhead to be led. The people need an arrowhead to be led. So let's be very mindful. Look, this thing that happened at the Electoral Commission, some of us even sat on this platform to say, call IPAC, call IPAC, call IPAC. That's the only way you can sort it. We thank God that she listened. Wasn't it a beautiful thing that MPP, NDC, and all the political parties could do what? To come to an agreement? Wasn't it beautiful? We should stop this hankering and bashing our heads together. Look, America, they should be very, very careful. Britain, they should be very, very careful. When you die, do you take your glasses with you?
No.
Do you take your shirt with you? Whatever money you have in the bank, do you take it with you? Huh? Look, I'm a Christian. The things the good Lord left for us, or the direction he gave us his Son, he gave us the Holy Spirit, he gave us forgiveness, and most of all, he gave us eternal life. And when you die, are you going to be in this world? All your possessions, your houses, are you going to speak to it? Are you taking it with you? And so if America feel that they have the wherewithal to say we shun Christianity, we shun our religion, it's up to them. It's up to, see what would happen. Things that have happened today, hasn't it happened in the Bible?
Yeah.
A lot of things that happen today, hasn't it happened in the Bible? So let's go on and not give the kind of credence we need to give to our belief in God. But who is to blame? Nobody us. Nobody us. Where we try as much as possible to skewer our religious beliefs to our personal interest. And KMJ, that's what I'll tell you today. Personal interest is killing this country. Personal interest in governance is killing this country. And I expect our religious leaders to talk about it, to preach about it. How many religious leaders, if it weren't for this, the water people telling us that Galamsey was affecting, how many religious leaders were standing in the pulpit to preach about Galamsey? How many? They are the moral fabric of our society. And I expect them to do that. I expect them to talk politics on the pulpit, because that is where you get a mass of people who need to be guided. You even apply to the politics in the Bible for them to understand. Do they do it? No, because they are interested in their pocket. So they align themselves to political parties because they know they'll get something from there. What are we heading for? What are we heading for? They have, when I was looking at this particular topic before I came, they are supposed to give us moral guidance based on our beliefs and based on, the kind of belief they lead us into. They are supposed to be peace building. And that peace building shouldn't only be when we are going for elections. That peace building should be straight through. Because you get some religious bodies where they are congregants who can't afford 3 square meals a day in the church. You get them in the church, and some can't even be bothered. When you see it in this country, when some of our preachers they start in small classrooms and all that. Within a number of years, they are able to build big churches. What's the next thing they do?
Because.
Do they not act like we, the ordinary people? They have to have the big cars, they have to dress in a certain way, they have to have bodyguards, they have to have mansions. Did Jesus have a mansion?
No. They believe they are living the way, so you can also see that there's good things in the church. So you don't say the church is always poor. We always come here to see poor things in the church.
When your people in the church are poor, look, I've never believed that God likes poverty. Because when you look in the Bible, there were very, very, very rich people in the Bible. God doesn't like poverty. But we ourselves have a poverty mindset. Have a poverty mindset, and that mindset has to change. Wouldn't it be a great thing if the whole of Ghana says, Galamsey, never again. Our leader, do something about it. We are all striking. We put our tools down till you get this thing right. Look, Galamsey is a profitable business. Gold mining is a profitable business. But if we don't structure it well, how do you earn money from it? And that is what we expect leadership to do. Structure it in such a way that we can earn a living out of it. Ghana has made a province in China rich from Galamsey. Why can't we do it for ourselves? And that is what we want our leaders to be doing.
Okay.
And that is why we should be able to speak with one voice when some of these things come up.
I'm going to come back to you again, lawyer. Let me go to Senor and take his view on that one as well. Senor.
Well, KMJ,
a
very good morning to you, and good morning to my Jantua, my very good friend, and then to your church viewers as well. And I bring you greetings from His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia and the leadership of our party. He's been touring the country, and for some days now, he's been in the Central Region, Western. He ended in Western North yesterday. And I want to tell you that he's been doing very well. The leadership of the party, his wife, they've all been touring the country to ensure that the good message of possibility is preached to everybody, for everybody to understand the possibility tour that he's doing. Now, let me also quickly state that Lawyer Gentua, he queried my answer in terms of the question you asked, but I think that with the greatest of respect. I'm entitled to what I know, and I don't know why he feels that I'm actually beating around the bush. No, and I think that your question came based on the fact that the NDC did same. I think that you don't expect me to sit here to tell you that indeed this is the NPP plan. No. So with the greatest of respect, I think that my senior brother, for that matter, please, I think I'm entitled to what I think our listeners need to know. I don't need to come and sit on this set and tell the whole world that this is the NPP plan as far as who is not. I'm a Christian. I worship at Trinity Baptist Church. So for me, I believe strongly that the things of God are good. But I cannot sit here and tell you that these are the plans of the NPP as far as what somebody has done. So we should also know if it is the direction of God, if it is the direction of Almighty Allah, we will definitely do it. So that's just on the side. But I have a Bible quotation that I want to read out to you. Okay. Exodus chapter 18, verse 21. What it says is that, but select capable men from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain, and appoint them as officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. This was an advice given by Moses. What am I trying to say? The context of the topic, yesterday when I saw it, I have to think twice. I have to now begin to ask a series of questions, trying to comb the other countries in terms of how our religious leaders have helped in shaping our democracy or our elections. For me, I think that indeed our religious leaders have helped in one way or the other. For example, when you look at in terms of our academic aspect, there are so many factors that are involved. If you want to look at the social factors, you have the social factors. If you want to look at the rational factors, you have the rational factors being involved as far as shaping our election in terms of the influence of the religious leaders. In this country, we've had instances where things have happened and our religious leaders have to come in to, be the neutral one that always brings in peace. In 2018 or 2008, we saw what happened. 2012, we saw what happened. It was the religious leaders that have to come and preach peace for us. Of course, the same religious leaders also, in one way or the other, being our leaders, I also think that at some point are allowing the politics of today to clone their eyes. So for me as a believer and as a follower, at some point in time, I may not probably necessarily want to take certain directions from my religious leader, even though I know that he or she helps in shaping the discourse of the day. Because I may not want to take such directions because I feel that, okay, where my leader is going to, it is not befitting. I think that it should be other way around. What it means is that, of course, what was done is good. For me, I think that is the best thing. Then easy things that is what they want to do. But let's put in context. In this country, we are in a very secular world where, in terms of our religion, we must not politicize religion, especially Christians, the Muslims. A few months ago, we saw when others were bastardizing our religious leaders, but I'm amazed, and again, I'm also happy that today, the same people who have bastardized one side of the religion, that, you are, preaching one line that they should support.
Those were done by politicians, or what?
These are done by politicians. These are done by politicians. I think that we as citizens are also the problem of the day. And the religious leaders at some point in time are also the problem for themselves. Because you have been carved in a way that we honor you, we see you as the leader that when you say A, everybody must listen to you because you are the one that we take instruction from. You know, at some point in time, if you go to the Catholic Church, sorry to use them as an example, they at times go to, I'm told that they go to confess to their fathers. So it means that they communicate to God at times through the Father. So what it means is that if we are listening to our leaders, and the same leader is shifting from the goalpost, you don't expect the followers to do the same. But what I'm trying to say is that as religious leaders, it's good, they help in shaping the discourse. But there have been instances that I think that there are certain comments that comes, there are certain predictions, there are certain things they say that do not augur well to the followers because at the end of the day, it creates a certain impression. I watched one of the pastors recently on one of your sister stations. I think is the Asempa or something like that. And this pastor was asked, if you support a certain political party, and why don't you declare prophecies? And I like the response of that pastor. It was like, prophecies are meant to be communicated to whoever you have seen, but not to be done publicly. That is his philosophy. In my understanding, I also feel that, for me, I like prophecies. Yes, but that also must be done in a manner that people do not link you to a certain political party. Because at the end of the day, you have followers, you have people who are listening to you, people who see you as their mentor, people who see you as their leader. So if you portray in a certain way that people do not think that, no, it should not be like that. At the end of the day, you are creating a different image for ourselves or for yourself. And what it means is that the kind of direction that we want this nation to go, would that be the direction? That is why today, a lot of the other people are saying that we do not need a peace council to come and only talk to us when it is time for signing peace accord in election year. Because the religious leaders have failed to talk when there are critical issues to be, dealt with. You see a lot of prophecies come around only when it is election.
Under the NPP, in the last 8 years, Reverend Uzubemba has been very vocal in terms of his belief in the NPP and what it stands for. In fact, he's made a lot of predictions by elections with regards to the NPP. We're seeing the same thing happening today, but it's switched this time around. Could that be a bother?
In regards to Reverend Uzubemba, I think that he's a leader. He has prophesied less. He's a man of God. Touch not the anointing. That is what the Bible says. So for me, I think that
it's the same anointing that is switching camps that has brought about some of these conversations.
I don't think that you have any evidence to say that he's a card-bearing member of the NPP. The fact that he is the spiritual father of, Nanado. I have, because I know the database of...
I'm not even talking in terms of what I'm talking in terms of his predictions and what he stands for.
Of course. And he's not the only one. We have Niger, Gazelle, and the others do their predictions and all of that, which even at times fail. So for me, I think that, like I said, predictions are good. But it is one thing to predict, and it is one thing to also get to understand whether it is going to work or not. But don't also forget that the Bible made us to understand that faith without work is what? Is dead. So if you have the faith that these are the predictions, yet you don't work towards it, if you don't put it on your shoulder, there is no way the Lord will lift it up onto your head. Yes, the predictions will come. But if you sleep, put your hands in your leg, at the end of the day, would whatever you want work? For us as a party, I think that His Excellency, there are a lot of prophecies that have been made this year. Even since last year, prophecies have been made, 1,001 and still counting. And I'm sure there will be more prophecies. But one thing that I am convinced of, and I have come to thank God about, is that, of course, I understand what the Bible says, and I don't have to sleep and think that what my religious leader tells me is final. I have to work towards it. That is why today you have His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia moving from Jene, moving from Joaboso, moving from Sefirioso and the rest, campaigning to the good people of these people to understand that, yes, we are all preaching it is possible. I don't need to stay on social media and be preaching it is possible. I don't need to be ranting on social media and be telling you that it is possible. But what I need to let you understand is that I have to come to your doorsteps, tell you my message, preach the message of possibility, preach the message of creating jobs to the youth, for you to understand that, yes, even though you believe that it is possible, we must all work hard to ensure that come 7 December, what we want to see is the victory for me. So let's work as a collaboration in order to get that victory. So for me, of course, it is beautiful. It is nice to have your religious leader shaping the direction. However, you must not relent on also understanding the rudiments of what the Bible is saying as far as your belief is concerned.
Okay, very much taken. Let's get a few messages from our viewers. You can also send your messages towards we're streaming live on Facebook. You can drop your messages in real time. WhatsApp is also active. I'm going to be reading some of your messages that you have sent to us this morning. I'll start off with this one over here. Says, KMJ, I feel very insulted when I'm told to vote for Bawumia in the upcoming 7th of December 2024 general elections. I was very distracted and gasping for breath when I had an SMS message from Bawumia urging me to come to Bibiani in the Western North region for his Bawumia political rally. I am not an NDC member or sympathizer, but this corrupt, incompetent, and monumentally failed government of Akufo-Addo and Bawumia must be booted out of power in the 2024 general elections to save our country from further pillage, plundering. And this government is so callous and cold-hearted that they don't care about our welfare. That is, Akufo-Addo is not interested to find the Galamsey menace. Good morning to you, especially lawyer Kwame Jantua. Charles Champon sent in that one. Let me go here. It says, that's Nashiru M. Bash from Woolensea. Good morning, Mr. Host. The desperation of John Mahama and his corrupt NDC is legendary. John Mahama, with an 8-hour economy, ran down the Ghanaian economy. John Mahama, under an 8-hour, cancelled the teacher and nurses' allowances. Under the 8-hour economy, he kept the nation in total darkness for 4 good years. And the same conman workers were paid 3 months after working for 15 months. This is the man we are dealing with. He pretended, but as they say, the created monkey will always be a monkey. Mahama is incompetent and can never be a better manager of the economy, period. My greetings to Honorable Alhaji Abdullah Haruna. Okay, let me go to the next one over here and see what we have. It says, good morning, KMJ and your panel members. Ghanaian voters are fed up with politicians when they are in opposition. They say one thing when they are in power. It's a different ball altogether. Ghanaian will assess of your performance before going to vote. It's not about talking, it's your work that will show. Mamudu Zangbegu in Boko, something that one. Good morning, host. Good morning, host. Forensic audit is a must to restore confidence and credibility in the EC. And audits is necessary to weed out the rogue elements and the vote rigging mafia, the EC, who are bent on rigging the aid for MPP. Vote riggers, beware. Vote rigging is a treasonable offense. Dr. Fredjan cautions, and the word to a wise is enough powerfully. And it goes on and says, the Holy Bible said it all, that the enemies came not to build, but to steal, to kill, and to destroy our economy, pension funds, forest reserves, and water bodies to enrich themselves. John 10:10, that applies to the enemies of state who came as burghers but end up as robbers. God save Ghana. Same powerfully coming through again. Let me go to the next one over here. It says, good morning, KMJ. The Lord has ordained John Mahama as the next president. The man is humble and trustworthy. Efia from Kumasi sent in that. Let me go here and see what we have. He says, good morning, KMJ. Dr. Bawumia has already met the clergy in North Region some months back. Bawumia continues to engage all religious bodies across the nation. Dr. Bawumia has stated it's clear that as a Muslim, he doesn't support LGBTQ. As for the flip-flop prophecies by some prophets, it's understandable. Okay, it says that Reverend Owusu Bempa is pissed because the president didn't intervene when he was arrested. At least we have a president who doesn't go about granting amnesty anyhow. He believes in the rule of law and will only any day respect the laws of the land. Baumia is out there campaigning day and night, selling his policies to the electorate and gaining grounds. Captain Frimpong from Congo sent in that one as well. Let me go to this one over here. It says, good morning, KMJ. While the EC and the NPP government telling Ghanaians that the voter register is clean, but it took the NDC to point out those criminal and deliberately errors to be corrected, but failed to give their so-called corrected versions to the NDC and other political parties to investigate. Okay, let me go to this one, and it's from Mensa Majid in Bechim, Toronto. Good morning, KMJ. The clergy have an influence in shaping our elections by condemning the bad things in the country. People insulted and lied about JDM, including some of the pastors some time ago. But I'm always happy to see those same people praising JDM. This clearly shows that who Jah blesses, no man curse. KMJ, why has the clergy failed to condemn the killings in Techiman South in the 2020 elections? We shouldn't forget that those who died in Techiman South were innocent. The clergy should be condemning bad things in the country. Let's vote massively for JDM on December 7 and the Honorable Charles Siedu. All right, so let me go to this one. It says, good morning to you. One of the primary responsibilities of the media is to serve as a watchdog over those in power. The media acts as a check on the government officials, ensuring they are held accountable for their actions and decisions. Through investigative reporting, journalists can uncover corruption, abuse of power, and other misconduct within the government. By shining a light on these issues, the media can help prevent abuses of power and protect the rights and interests of the citizens. Aaron Babakoko Komisa sent in that. Sami Boachi and Samankasi says that if the religious leadership can make any impact or influence the election is without based on hypocrisy, inconsistency, and selfish interest, but notwithstanding, Dr. Baumia-led NPP's focus and no amount of deception, propaganda, insult, and name-calling can change the magnitude of Ghanaians who should vote for. The fact is, Ghanaians have already made up their minds to vote massively for Dr. Baumia, and he's number one on the ballot. Look no further, just vote number one and go away, and it is possible regards to Honorable Charles. Now, let me do a few, maybe one more, and then we'll get back. Good morning, host. The only way to stop Galamsey is to report Akufo-Addo and his officials to ICC for crime against humanity. Indeed, making laws to pollute water bodies is against UN Resolution 2573, which sees water pollution as a war crime and an act of terrorism. Again, ICC must place arrest warrant on public officials for their genocide and for political killings in Nigeria, Accra, Boko, Asawasa, Techiman, and other places. Stop Galamsey now. Pauli sent in that. This one says, grateful submission by Mr. Senor. I think our religious leaders must at times deviate from the God work and rather politicize their prophecies, forgetting that their followers are of diverse affiliations, which affects their faith in their leaders when they become politically controlled. By Alhaj Premier in what sent in that one as well. Okay. All right, so we're back to studio, but you can continue to send your messages to us. We're definitely going to be reading them pretty shortly. All right, so Metal, I'm going to come to you. Lawyer will be leaving us, so I want him to just have another quick take, and then we'll continue with Iron. Lawyer, yes, so we've made some strides. We've seen prophecies. Mm-hmm. We've criticized these prophecies and all of that. In fact, Ghana Police has come out. We've had a series of meetings with the clergy and all of that. We're seeing another form of that creeping in this year as well. I don't know how heightened it is going to be in a couple of days, but we've seen inklings of them coming through. Is that the way to go? Is it also helping in shaping our elections, or we should just do away with that?
I reckon that this particular election is different from all other elections. This particular election has a situation where people find themselves in a crunch. Their finances, being able to feed themselves, the unpopularity of government policies, government not being able to fulfill the promises that they gave. So it's a different election, and that will be uppermost in people's minds.
Prophecies won't add anything.
I don't think that these prophecies, it will be a small minority who would stick to it. This particular election would go by the saying of President Kufuor, because the challenges are huge. It's the first time where a government has had to usurp people's savings for them to be able to run the economy. It's the first time we've seen a situation where government is refusing to listen to the people where Galamsey is concerned. Galamsey, which is doing what? Destroying our nation. And sometimes when you sit with MPP people on platforms,
communications team members,
yes, they say after elections, we'll deal with Galamsey. After elections, we'll deal with Galamsey. And Galamsey is killing us. Yesterday, I went to the local content conference by the Petroleum Commission in Takoradi, and I drove, crossing the, Pra River. I was saddened. Huge expanse of water, all polluted. And once upon a time, that water was clear, fresh water. And then I stood on the bridge for a while and I asked myself, has government come here to see what is happening here? And there were people standing on the banks, trying to decide whether they should collect the water or they shouldn't collect the water. And there doesn't seem to be any push. After all the challenges, all the protest, and still going on, government still doesn't want to move. It baffles my imagination. So I don't think prophecies with this election is going to work. Yes, the religious bodies can, in a way, steer us. Because when you look at, and I can only talk about Christians, but I'm sure in the Muslim community, when you look at the scriptures, it tells you, and Senor just read one from Exodus, it tells you what is required. The Bible, everything you want to know, how you eat, how you sleep, how you do, and how you govern, everything is in the Bible. It's a good direction for any leader. Unfortunately, if you remember, when President Tamils, became president, some people used to laugh at him for his Christian, beliefs. But that should be the pinnacle.
The bedrock.
The pinnacle and bedrock of our governance. Someone asked myself, President Kufuor goes to church every Sunday. He attends Reach Church. Why would he tell us that he needs to take a responsibility that is his for the court to decide? Why? And if you're a Christian, would you believe in LGBTQI or K or S? Would you, as a leader? If you say what you do is based on your Christian beliefs, would you pander to such a thing? And what does that mean? LGBTQI, what is it? Isn't it someone's behavior? Don't you decide to be a thief? Don't you decide to do good? Aren't you, if you're an individual, don't you decide to do certain things? How can somebody's lifestyle be a fundamental human right? How? I don't understand it. I don't know whether my panelists understand that. I don't see how somebody's lifestyle chooses to do that become a fundamental human right, which goes against the grain of our religious beliefs, which even goes against the grain of our own human beliefs. Animals would not even do that. And we humans think it's the right thing. And we have leadership who won't see that this is bad and is bad for our country. Because we have seen examples of LGBTQI and the types of diseases it can bring. We've seen it. It happens. And it's wrong. But we have leadership who will pander to those foreigners who think they want to accept LGBTQI. We want a leader who will put his foot down and say, over my dead body, ain't happening in my country. and let the chips fall where it may. If we come and ask you for money and you won't give us money, we would look within China. After a while, did they not close their borders? When they now open their borders, what happened? What happened? China has become a first world country. And you're trying to tell me that if we have a leader, and President Akufo-Addo, when he said the no aid thing, what is
which one?
No aid. When he went to the French
president. They did it.
Ghana Beyond Aid.
Ghana Beyond Aid was a huge platform. Was a huge platform for him not only to move Ghana forward, but to move Africa forward. Because that statement he made, Ghana before aid, he should have come back and sat with ECOWAS, sat with African governments to decide, okay, this is what I believe in. How do we make sure that our country, our continent, does not always pander for loans? How do we do it? And then sit and bring ideas, because there are people in this country, there are people in Africa who could direct this particular thing. When Nkrumah called for independence now, and that Ghana's independence was what do you call it, without
meaningless
without
the total liberation of
you think when he finished he just sat?
No.
You think he just sat?
No.
He worked with the others
for
them to get independence, and that is what President Akufo-Addo should have done when he declared that particular statement. And he declared it in the glare of the world. In the glare of the world. And he could have taken that mantle, bring it back, talk to the people, and start it. Other thing he did, which was good, the return.
The year of return.
The year of return.
Beyond the return.
Beyond the return. That could have been something that we could have worked on and also polluted it into Africa. That is how we do it. Did he? Did he? And those two things, if he had done it, wouldn't have brought more money into our continent. Because you see, Africa is the only continent where countries work together. Because our problems seem to be the same.
So why is it not happening?
But even in working together, we feel some independent, individual things that we should be able to bring.
Maybe that could have also prevented him from getting that, statement work or getting the people together.
Didn't Nkrumah have people who were against what he was trying to do? Nyandere didn't understand what Nkrumah meant.
But it came with its consequences.
It came with its consequences, but Nkrumah was able to make sure that it happened. The fact that people don't understand, it's up to you to be able to convince them that this is the way we should go.
He hasn't done convincing enough.
Has he been able to? Unfortunately, has he been able to? And I'll continuously say, President Akufo-Addo is the one gentleman of this country, of Ghana, who transcends my father's generation and this generation. He knows what happened in my father's generation and knows what is happening in this generation. With that kind of knowledge and intelligence, he could have changed Ghana. Because I saw him, it's not as if I'm just saying, I saw him during the term of the fight against Champon, union government. He was one of the youngest politicians. They were meeting in my father's house, all of them. Afifa, Bidema, Nana Addo was the youngest of the lot. So he has knowledge. He understands what Ghana politics is. But unfortunately, he hasn't been able to allow it to reflect in his governance. Unfortunately. And we are where we are today because of some of those things.
Quick one, because before you go, if we get to a point where the president decides that, okay, we're tired of this Galamsey thing, so we need to put force to work. Military are deployed. They go into these places and start making sure that things are done properly. It comes with sending air success and all of that. Once people like you, who are lawyers, activists of human rights, come and say, why are you doing this to these people? Why all these brutalities? Because military people want to stop Galamsey.
I have said shoot to kill, where Galamsey is concerned.
Really?
Yes. Because they themselves, those protect.
Exactly.
Wait.
Thank you.
I said shoot to kill. Those who are protecting the Galamseyers, do they not have rifles?
They do.
Do they not have dangerous weapons? Are they not firing at those who are trying to stop them? And you sit, and you see the danger here is that When you look at West Africa, there's a lot of terrorism going on. The terrorism might not come in here, but what the terrorism will do is that they will find that we can make money from galamsey in Ghana. Let's go in there and let's protect the galamsey so that we can also make money to do the things we want to do. That is the danger. That is the danger. And if President Akufo-Addo today says, let's stop all this nonsense and let's all come together and fight this thing, you think a lot of us will not follow him? You think a lot of us will not applaud him? And I have said on platforms that President Akufo-Addo, how many days till you end? How many months do you end? If for nothing at all, start that. Start that particular crusade and let us all follow you. So that in the end, when we succeed, we can say, during President Akufo-Addo's time, he started the fight against calamity. Today, can you say he started the fight against calamity? When somebody tells you, I'm putting my presidency on the line, what does it mean? It means if I fail, I'm out. Yeah. Is he out? Is he not there? So, please.
Anyway, thank you very much, Lawyer Kwame Jantua, joining us. Unfortunately, he has to leave us, and hopefully next week, Thursday, he's going to be on again. Now, Meto, let me come to you, and then I'll go back to Senor.
Yeah, KMJ, you see, when you look at, we talk about religious leaders, okay? Just like I said, they are the only people that can put politicians to check. They are the only people that can put people who we've given them the mandate.
Have they done that?
To rule.
Do we see
check.
more of that?
But
it seems to be more of praises and more of predictions to get attention from politicians.
Yeah, that's where
putting them to check.
That is where I'm coming to.
Yeah.
You see, because I find it sad to find a man that has supervised. I find it sad to find a man that has supervised the economic mismanagement of this country, going around visiting religious leaders and they are praising him. This wasn't the role of religious leaders when in the days of the Bible. I give you an example of Samuel and Saul. When Saul did what was wrong, Samuel put him to check. I give you an example of Nathan. Another example is Nathan and David. And there are several examples like that. You look at Hophni and Phinehas, their father Eli. When his sons sinned against God, the priesthood was taken away from their family. In today's Ghana, when you're relating the role of religious leaders, the influence they have, to the governance and peace and development of citizens, and their church members are first of all citizens of the nation before they became church members. So the religious leaders should be interested in the well-being of their church members. And you find a man that was the head of the economic management team that has supervised a gargantuan borrowing ever in the history of Ghana, that has led us to domestic debt exchange programs where pensioners in the same churches, old men and women, that have worked over 40 years, that have worked over 30 years, that have invested their money, are losing their monies. Some of them do not have the monies to buy their diabetes medicines, their blood pressure medicines, and all that. And as a religious leader, this man comes to your church to come and campaign because it's time for elections, and you cannot tell him in the eyes, you cannot look him in the face and tell him that some of these things that he did were wrong. Yet you praise him. These are some of the things that Saul, that became Paul, spoke against. When you read the epistle of James, he wrote a letter to Christians talking about impartiality. That is not a rich man that came to your church, that you hailed him, you praised him, you gave him the front seat. Is it not the same rich man that oppressed you, that stole your lands, that stole from the poor? Yet he comes to church because he comes to give tithes, big donations, and then you praise him. And then the poor man comes and you discriminate against him, and you tell him to sit at the back. So it's about time that our religious leaders call a spade a spade. If they don't do that, the politicians will keep on taking them for granted. When these politicians come, when John Mahama comes, when Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia comes, when Ekadonko comes, tell them this utterance you made at this time on this platform, because they'll come to the churches, because they need power. And that is where you can leverage on, to talk to them and tell them in the face that you did this, that was wrong. Next time, don't speak like that. The way you spoke in this direction has a tendency to bring disunity in the nation. But when they come, we are silent. And we praise them. You think that when they go back, they're not going to continue what they are doing. And then when it's time, they'll enter your church or they'll enter the mosque or any other, the shrine, and make big donations. And then you keep silent. Politicians are very smart. And we politicians are able to take advantage when it comes to elections. And they've got the money. So if you don't call a spade, it's not about the money every time. Let's think about the general well-being of the people. Tell the man that he's come to your church, that you are praying for him and you are praising him. You are supervising Galamsey as the vice presidential candidate. What have you done about it so far? This Galamsey issue is causing babies to be giving birth to babies without eyes, without nose, with all forms of deformities, pregnant women losing their lives and all that. And it has a tendency to affect us even in the capital here because our food, the animals we're eating, we don't know where they're coming from. And they come to the shrines, they come to the mosque, they come to the churches, and you praise them. Is that what the role of the religious leaders, even from the Bible, is? Our traditional leaders. When we were so much afraid and revered our traditional religion, you know, some of the forests, they tell you that there's a God forest. They'll tell you some of the water bodies. There's a God.
No, even most of the water bodies that have been polluted right now. Yeah, they used to have gods living there.
Yeah, they used to have gods living there.
I'm not sure if
there's a God. So even when you're entering that water body, you can't even go into the water body to go and bath and all those things. We've thrown traditional religion to the dogs. We thrown them to the dogs. People can enter sacred forest today and then bank or Galamsey because of modernization. But at the time that we revere traditional religion, people could not go into it and do those things. So when you look at religion holistically, not only from Christian religion, even Islam, and even the traditional religion, and we go strictly according to them, the religious leaders are impartial. The religious leaders think about the citizens. They don't think about their pockets. They are not scared. And they are not handicapped in the way of finances. So when the politicians come and they give them money and they praise them, even if John Dramani Mahama enters your church to campaign, and he's done something wrong, he's made an utterance that you think that has the tendency of disuniting Ghana, tell him in the face. I'm not talking only about Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. But you go, this Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia enters the churches and you find the people, the traditional religious leaders praising him, and you wonder what is happening. Is this the moral checks that the religious leaders are going to put in place? Then we've lost it as a country. The only thing that I love so much about Ghana is the fact that you can have traditional religion, the Christianity, Islam, and they come together. You find imams going to enter churches on their anniversaries. Yeah, you find senior pastors going to the mosque during their anniversaries and all. The unity and love we have in Ghana. Today we are not doing politics. We are looking at Ghana. We have a few more days to the election on the 7th of December. After 7th of December, we have one Ghana. KMJ, I don't intend going anywhere. I love Ghana so much. I've been to other places, and people who have traveled before, you know the kind of stress and pressure that is there. But if you're in Ghana here, there's a lot of things that you benefit. There's a lot of peace, there's a lot of comfort, there's a lot of enjoyment. Let's not sit down for politicians to destroy the country that we have. Let's not sit down for politicians to destroy the peace that we have. And the only independent body that can put them to check are religious leaders. And we beg them, when the politicians enter your church, tell them in the face the things that they've said wrong, the things they've done wrong, put them to check. If you're putting them to check, I can tell you an authority. When it's time for campaign and they want to enter your church, they'll think twice. When they want to enter the mosque, they'll think twice. But they know they can come and buy their way out. So they're not scared. They do whatever they want to do in governance. They mess up the economy. They mess up the galamseying. People are dying. They don't care about it. They break down hospitals. They are not building them. They loot state money and they don't care about it. And then they'll still come to church and give donations. It should get to a point in time when politicians come and you know they've looted state money. They've engaged in gargantuan corruption. When they donate money to the churches, the mosque, the shrines, reject it and tell them that this money is filthy, so I'm not going to take it.
And that's what the NDC will be doing?
I'm talking about religious leaders.
No, I know, but if the NDC goes and donates to them and they reject...
I said everybody, whether it's John Mahama, whether it's Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, whether it's Ekia Donko, whether it's Sheda, or anybody.
And the NDC will be cool with that.
But I'm telling you that today it's not about the NDC.
And he says, I've been speaking against you. I've done the wrong thing. I don't want your money. The NDC will not victimize them in any way.
How can you victimize them when they are speaking the truth? God Himself, God Himself,
Politicians don't like the truth.
That is why you find one pastor does it and speaks the truth, and then you go to another pastor, and then the other pastor will tell you that, oh, what you're doing is right, and whatever. But if the religious bodies or the leaders are one, they are together, and they are speaking the truth to these politicians, our leaders, I can tell you that the politicians will think twice when they are looting state money, when they are engaging in corruption. What does NDC, NPP, Shada, anybody, Alan, when it's time for campaign, then they are coming to the churches. Or no one can say, now not sure, you don't enter the church to come and do campaign. But they know that, oh, when it's time, I can lose the state money. Today, I brought over 600 billion plus. I've not done anything with the money. I said to them, I'm doing Agenda 111. There are several stages of completion. I'll go to the church and go and deceive them. I've had revenue over 830 billion. I cannot show what I've done with the revenue. I've put down our general hospital. I'm now, out of pressure, I'm now building it. Galamseyers, people who were demonstrating against Galamsey, today are facing cell incarceration because of their demonstration, protesters. It's never happened under any democratic dispensation ever in the world. And then religious leaders are sitting down. Politicians know that, oh, they can do these things and then get away with them. It's about time our religious leaders, we beg them. Both the traditional, the Christian, and then the Islam. When the politicians can put them to check, tell them in the face. And when they are coming and they've done any of those things, they've mismanaged the economy so much that your old people, old men and women in the church are suffering. They themselves will not be able to come there.
Okay.
And by so doing, we'll be able to build a better Ghana.
Very well. Do I have some messages that I can read them? And before I come to Senor, if whilst you're let me, okay, Senor, no, I'll come to you. I know you really want to react to some of the things, but let's engage the viewers a bit. I'm sure there are things that you find here that you want to address as well. So let me do a few of them. This one over here says, good morning. KMJ, I may say that the clergy have influence in shaping our elections because they are also politicians, just that they can't show it publicly. Galamsey is a national issue and it must take any president to deal with it in the hard way because human lives are involved. Now, never again should any president allow Galamsey to continue in this country. And NPP, led by Dr. Baumia, is ready to make it happen. The NPP is working very hard to bring Ghana back on track, and I know DMB is the best man who can do it with his bold solutions. Baumia mean business. My best regards to it for Senor. So you see, there's one for you there to address. This one is actually supporting that idea. So Akosi Garba from Talami says, organized labor leadership should stop threatening the country with unreasonable strike, else they will lead without fellowship. The labor leadership now behaving like a political wing whose interest is to make the country ungovernable for their parochial interest. Now, this one here says the NDC and John Mahama and their sympathizers can decide to demonstrate to their 24-hour economy, but I can assure them that the good people will not fall foul to their empty 24-hour economic slogan. You can never use a good advertisement to support a bad product. Which is John Mahama. Ghanaians are not having as short memories as they think. The dead goat syndrome is still fresh in our minds. No magician in a job creation, 3 months paid policy, etc. Ziz Bayo from Wasenti. This one over here says, good morning. The Major Rufai from Tamale South constituency, Dr. D. Baumia, is the only person who can solve the Galamsey problem in Ghana. Good morning to my boss, Senor, you meant to say. All right. Alaji Hamza Pekfam says, good morning, my brother KMJ. Since when has the Assembly of Religious to pray for someone become a crime, or is it because it is JDM? What was right yesterday cannot be wrong today. Dr. Baumia is out there calling on Muslims to vote for him because he's a Muslim and nobody has called him to order. So I see nothing wrong if Christian leaders also come together to pray for JDM. Don't forget the religious leaders in this country also vote. To me, I commend the Christian for the prayers for JDM and they should keep it up. My brother, President Mahama, is out there fighting hard for religious rights for all because he believes we all are equal before the Lord. Teacher Kojo Tepa says that instead of campaigning on strategies and policies, Mahama is banking his hopes on opinion polls. If he cares to know, the only reliable opinion poll is the one that will be taken on December 7th, which is also the only one recognized by the electoral laws of Ghana. The NDC and the Mahama should keep focusing on these other opinion polls, and they will have a shocker of their lives come December 7th. Greetings to Honorable Eric and Ajman Prempeh, the incoming MP for Afro. I don't know. This one says, KMJ, I don't understand why the NPP is saying they are going to lose their seats when they ban Galamsey. In my hometown, for instance, in Lembele, the ones doing the Galamsey are from the north and other places, and they don't even have time to go and vote during the election. So who cares if you ban Galamsey? Tell them to do the right things to maintain their seats and stop using Galamsey as the cause. And that's from Wat inside Asasatre in Lembele. Let me go to this one over here. It says, okay. Good morning, please. My greetings to Mr. Senyo. He's really making we the youth and MPP proud this morning. Abu Luti from Bandar Kwanta. Sami knows a lot of these names because he's traveled a lot with the show on Joy Prime that is called Explore, and so he knows a lot of these places and their names. Thanks, Sami, for that. Mensa Majid is from Bechem. Okay, I think I've read something from Mensa Majid already. Let me just do Musa, and then I'll go back to Senor. Musa Abator Sawasa says the decision by organized labor to give the government a 10-day ultimatum is deeply disappointing, especially given that this is a government notorious for disregarding wise counsel on the issue of illegal mining. Their own reports accuse them of being complicit in the destruction of our water bodies and forest reserves. Investigations by figures like Anas Rastus and Professor Frimpong Boateng have openly stated that the headquarters of Galamsey operations is the Jubilee House. All right. We cannot independently, verify that, but that's your opinion and remains your opinion. Let me go back to Senor.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. You know, at times I sit back and watch some of the things being said on the set, and some of the things people test and all of that. I seem to blame ourselves.
Why so?
Why so? Because I think that because of the colorization, gradually, it is becoming too much as far as the politics are concerned. We have all been cloned by colors. So even when it is not true, I want to write something. Why would you sit behind your phone and just say a message that, Jubilee House is the headquarters of Galamsey? Do you have any evidence or any fact to back what you are sending? You see, I respect whoever that sent that message, but I think that at times, let's be mindful of the things we send. We appreciate what you send because it forms part of, the discussion. But you see, you don't send such things on such platforms. Do you have evidence to back it? But again, let me also state that the issue of Galamsey, I will come back to the religious leaders issue, but because of the issue of Galamsey that is coming in, I think I've spoken about this last week or so. The issue of Galamsey is of great essence to me, and I think that when we are speaking about it, let's speak about Galamsey devoid of particulars. I have told myself at any point that I'll meet anybody who will speak. When I'm on set with you and you want to talk about Galamsey and you approach it with particularization, I will take you head on. Because you are not Ghanaian more than anybody. You are not Ghanaian more than, my mother or my auntie or my siblings or my friends who are in my hometown. So you don't portray to be like, it is your party agenda you are pushing. The issue of Galamsey is a national issue. It's an issue that must be dealt with, that must be confronted with all the integrity that it needs. In all honesty, in all honesty, it must be approached with that sort of integrity. Let's talk about it devoid of the politics. People are talking about Galamsey and they want to, chip in their political colorization for them to know that indeed it is their political. See, we are in this country. The data is there. The information is all out. We have had political leaders who at one point in time are promising people who have been arrested that they'll be given amnesty, they'll be granted amnesty. Let's stop all these people. We are in this country, we've had people who have gone to stand in galamsey pits, encouraging galamseyers to continue with that devilish acts. And we are not talking about it. And again, I also blame the media. That when some of these people are talking, we don't speak to them. We don't speak. We don't call them out and then, how do I call it? We don't call them out and lash them. Recently, I had the running mate of the opposition leader went to somewhere Amenfi East or Amenfi West, and she was talking about this galamsey issue. I've been monitoring the media, and they seems not to talk about what she said, and rather they were focusing on what somebody said in the Ashanti region. Is that the way to go? Bad is bad. Bad is bad. That is the direction we must look at. Now, I think that the president, together with his team, they have not relented on the fight against galamsey. Of course, we have not achieved 100% goal. However, I think that the president has done 8 bits in terms of fighting this galamsey. But we as citizens must also sit up and act responsibly.
What has the president done?
You saw that the teams that were put in place. There was
to do what exactly?
The teams that were put in place to ensure that our river bodies are not polluted. Operation Vanguard and the others.
And they were successful?
But you heard me talk about it that we've not been 100% successful.
But 100% is quite a margin. So if you say
so what it means is that
it means that you've done almost everything possibly that you can.
KMJ. You see, for me, when it is about galamsey, I'm so passionate about it.
We are all passionate about it.
But let's not be a bit mischievous about it.
No, Senor.
What I'm saying is
been mischievous about it. No.
Please listen. Let me raise
100%.
KMJ, would you allow me to land? Would you allow me to land?
Okay.
Thank you. Now, what I mean to say is that the president, together with his team, they've put measures in place. Operation Vanguard and the others. But we have people who are so recalcitrant, people who are notorious, people who feel that the law is in their hand. There are people who have been arrested. To the extent that we have respected people who should, call them out, are rather promising of granting them amnesty. We have people from both divides. It is not as if these are people who are not politicians. They are. Let me tell you, this galamsey issue, I am telling you, it is everybody, all the political parties, everybody is concerned.
NDC
NDC is doing it.
MPP is doing it.
People are saying the MPP are also doing it. I have heard people mentioning, you see, having alliances and mining does not mean that you are doing galamsey. But mining irresponsibly, mining in areas where you don't have to mine. What does the act say? After mining, for me, I think one of the things that we should be looking at is there should be a more punitive measure when you are given the license to mine and
you go beyond
a certain threshold and you do not do reclamation, you do not plant trees to make sure that that place is sealed. I think that your license should be revoked and that will serve as deterrent. You see, mining or small-scale mining cannot be stopped. It's a no-no. It can be stopped because it creates livelihood. It creates opportunity for people. That is where from hand to mouth is coming in. If you are taking that from the people, but we are saying that if you want to do small-scale mining, do it responsibly. Do a responsible mining. Don't go and act irresponsibly. Don't go and, just by any river body begin to dig the waters to... No! Do you have the data? That's why Baumia is saying that when he comes, he will ensure that the geological survey gives you the data that tells that, okay, in Jene, We have gold in this area. You can mine in that area. That is what is called responsible mining.
Okay,
Because there's a
all right.
data to prove for it.
Unfortunately, my
back
time
to-
is up. so-
Back to the religious.
Oh, no. Senor, we've said it.
No, but he said something. Back to the religious.
But you had the time.
Please.
Senor, but you decided to talk about Galamsey.
Because he
you
said
wanted to
about
respond
that.
to issues. So
Now,
you should
back
have
to
just
the
reminded
religious
them.
leaders. I think that
but that should be your closing remark. Just 1 minute for that.
I think that the religious leaders, they must do what is right. They are doing all right. But again, let them distance themselves from the politics. So that people do not see them as political spokesperson for certain people, whether it is Asimesi or it is A. For me, I respect religious leaders. I respect my pastor. I respect somebody's pastor. However, I will not be happy to see my pastor openly, publicly, saying that I belong to party A or party B. That shifts the focus. So as religious leaders, let's ensure that we do what God is directing us to do. Where there is the need for guidance, let's guide.
Okay.
When people are shifting, direct them, but don't associate with their colors.
Okay. Very well. Thank you very much, Senor. And Metal.
Yeah, KMG. I think that on the religious,
you have 1 minute.
on the religious leaders, I think that they should still remain independent. They should be united. They should call a spade, no matter who the politician is. When they've done something wrong, when they come to them, they should tell them in the face that what they've done is wrong and is affecting the citizens of Ghana. And Senor, on one breath, says that Galamsey, he's so passionate about it, and yet he says that his government has done so much about it. Operation Vanguard, Operation Galam Stop, Operation whatever. KMT, the result is that the water bodies have been polluted more than ever in the history of Ghana. The result is that they, the MPP government, have issued licenses for people to mine more than any other government. From Nkrumah to John Mahama, they issued only 57 licenses to mine. Only under Nana Addo, they've issued over 1,600 licenses. What are they trying to tell us? The MPP have nothing better to offer us. We should vote against them. Let's rescue Ghana.
All right. Thank you very much, Metal, and thank you very much, Senor, for coming through. Senor came from the NPP. Metal represented the NDC. Lawyer Kwame Jantua was also here with us this morning. He's a senior member of the CPP and also Chairman Oil and Gas AGI. Thank you so much for also sending in your messages and interacting with us this morning here on Newsflash.